Well, to quote Luke Skywalker, a piece of junk. Yeah, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. Thought I'd talk about the Millennium Falcon toy that I've got. This is the original from the late 70s, and you can tell it's pretty worse for wear, what with all the yellowing and stuff. But pretty cool toy, huge. I've had to move it out here to give it some kind of room enough to, kind of like when I did the AT-AT back in the wintertime. This is the kind of toy that needs a bit of space. I've tried to make the area look a little bit like Docking Bay 94. Hope I did a decent enough job. And apologies that there's sirens and clattering of people around me. Nothing much I can do about that with the neighbors and that. However, this is the Millennium Falcon, and it's from the original series because it has the round radar dish, whereas with the newer films they made that squared off type of design because the Falcon loses that when it flies inside the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. Anyway, yeah, this is one really impressive toy. It's massive. It's a little out of scale. I mean, you can tell, like, just the front area here, the cockpit, it looks strangely huge compared to the rest of the toy, and that's correct. On the original Millennium Falcon, that would have been much smaller, or to give this any kind of proper scale, the rest of the ship should be, I don't know, almost 1.5 times as big in order to make that look right. But you got to do what you got to do back in the 70s, I suppose. Really impressive amount of detailing. Like, they put a lot of greeblies in here, and they did their best to make the ship as, I don't know, detailed as possible. And it's really got a lot of neat features in it. Here, I'll just show you the back in a sec. There's the rear quarters. Now, the Falcon's engines are usually a bluish color when in hyperdrive or flying, so I guess this is it at rest. There's the other end there. This is the button. I've moved the landing gear. There we go. This button you would press to make it make some sounds, and the batteries will go in there. It's just one of those typical little spinning wheel grinding sort of things, so it's just a high-pitched whine more than an actual sound effect. So yeah, I decided to take the batteries out of that years ago because I just thought, no, I don't need those corroding. And above the engines, we actually see there was some on the original model. There were like these 6 venting grills, or I'm not sure what they were supposed to be. 3 of mine have dried off over time because they were just stickers sitting there. Good news is I've still got them in a bag here. I guess someday I should re-glue them in place. But that's the rear of the Falcon. And let's just show you the cockpit. It's actually really well done. Now, I think mine's kind of, it's supposed to sit on like a hinged piece of plastic there, which did have some give, but over time it's kind of hardened, so it's supposed to kind of just flip up and sit on a little bit of plastic, but I'll set this off to the side. Again, not really to scale, but you could put Han Solo in there, and Chewie could easily sit beside him. So, okay, it's maybe not proper scale, but, you know, you can actually get both of the figures to fly the ship. And they've even got some neat little instrumentation there. Like, they've done some nice job of giving Han and Chewie some buttons to press so that they can, in fact, jump to light speed. And Han can tell them, you know, punch it, Chewie. But without a doubt, one of the things I really like the most about the Millennium Falcon toy, it does actually have the classic ramp that is used to get on board, which is very similar to the films, and a lot of the other vehicles had that design idea. So if, let's say, for example, Luke wants to stop arguing about what a hunk of junk this is, he can come aboard. My snag is he bangs his head against the wall. Like, it's not perfectly to scale. Having said that, Chewbacca did have to stoop down when he had 3PO in the back of his backpack. So it is sort of to do with the film. There we go, Luke's aboard. And the nice thing is, when Luke comes aboard, there is a whole play area inside here. Like, you've got a fairly big amount of space for figures to do things and walk about. They've got the little holes for their pegs for their legs to stand on, so they can stand here and have conversations, discuss, you know, how it's all a bunch of simple tricks and nonsense. You've even got Chewie standing by there, ready for a game of chess. What was it called? Derajek? I can't remember. Did a video about that one, actually, a little while ago. What's also really cool is you've got the gun turret here, where one of the figures can sit in and actually fire the guns. Similar to the film, you're on perpendicular to the gravity of the ship. That was always a really neat feature in the original Star Wars film. And if Luke wants to continue his training here and continue the conversation with Han about, you know, it's about just simple tricks and nonsense, there is actually on the little arm here they put a little, it's like a little jewel stone or something, but that could be Luke's training remote, so he can sit there and put the helmet on and, you know, complain about how it's too hard to see. How does he expect to fight? Now, all of this stuff is actually hidden behind this sort of cover or lid piece that goes on the back. And on the underside, we actually have this very neat little floor panel piece, which is here. Now, what I can do with that is actually put Luke and Han and whoever else in this secret compartment, cover it with the floor panel, and that way Han can talk about he never thought he'd be smuggling himself in these one day. Alright, there we go. That's the lid back on. Now, the other cool thing about the Falcon is it actually has the ability through the handle there to pick it up and fly it around. Now, unfortunately, this landing gear has some chipped pieces, so when I pick this thing up like you're supposed to, it leaves one of the landing gear behind. But you get a general idea of, you know, kids are supposed to fly the ship around and, you know, do all kinds of banking and weaving because that front landing gear does act as a bit of a handle. That was a very cool design decision. I like that. So that landing gear to the side and the fact that it's quite yellowed and some of these stickers have come off over time. You can even see that one's missing. It's an old toy, but a good one. I really love it, despite it being a piece of junk, as Luke says. But there we go. There is the Millennium Falcon from the 70s. I know with the new movie coming out, the Falcon is a lot spiffier looking these days, thanks to Lando's original design. But I wanted to show the original Millennium Falcon that I enjoy. And until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.